Lavelle, Mr. Nike Hoodii, Lavelle Payne. This is about the second or third time we've just been able to sit down and relive your experiences on the virtual court, right? Introduce yourself and just kind of give a brief bio of who is Nike Hoodii.
First things first, my name is Lavelle Payne. I play sharp, shooting guard. I'm pretty laid back player. Anybody that's played with me, you understand I don't have much to say, but when I do say something, I make it count.
Yeah.
I'm known to be a shooter.
Yeah.
At times I play point guard, but
Exactly.
anybody that's played with or against me, they know me as a sharp.
Where are you from, Lavelle?
I'm from Temple, Texas, born and raised, and I've been in Denton, Texas the past 4 years now.
And then when did you start playing NBA 2K?
2K17.
Yeah.
It was random. It was very random. My friends just hit me up. It was like, come play park with us. I had the game, but I never had a my player.
For sure.
I didn't even know what that was. I had to learn as I go.
Exactly. What were some of the biggest things that you've learned, in regards to playing with my player and playing with other individuals alongside of you on the court?
Well, for one, it takes teamwork to
Yeah.
make the dream work. I'm not going to have a player that's able to do everything. You have
Exactly.
to pick your poison of, okay, I can not dribble, or I cannot be able to shoot, or not
Yeah.
be able to rebound, or not be able to dunk was
Yeah.
a big thing. You have to be very careful in creating your my player.
Exactly. What made you pick your position? Why?
At first, 2K18, I was a point guard, actually. I was a point guard. I was a ball handler. I was the main guy running the show. 2K18, I had a sharpshooting playmaker, just a throwback for some people, and another one, it was a point forward. And then 2K19, I just felt like I needed an identity. I was like, let me see what this sharp is like, and that's when it just took off.
Exactly. How was it for you to find teammates on the virtual court when you're at home playing online? What was that experience like? Was it easy for you? Was it difficult, to set yourself in the best positions to showcase your skills?
In the beginning, it was really rough. Actually, I got started through Madden. I had friends already through Madden, but it got boring. There's like, we're on 2K right now, and that's how I jumped into 2K. And then I jumped into the 2K community. That was rough. The first year and a half, I'm asking my friends that got me into the game, I'm asking them to vouch for me to these other players, just so I can get a chance to play on their team.
Exactly.
Getting your name out there, it's a pretty rough process for anybody that's in the community. Like you start from the very bottom and you have to work your way up.
You have to, yeah. Who was two people, if you had to just name two people that helped you be known in the community? The program community it's like this underground, layer of talent, and, you really have to be able to showcase your skills. Who was that person, or there are two people that co-signed for Nike Hoodii?
First one is definitely Black Man's Chess.
Okay.
He played for the Nets last year. If anybody remembers, he was the sharp shooting guard. He definitely had my back. That's my day one.
Yeah.
I've known him for about 5 years now. We're basically blood brothers at this
Perfect.
point. And the second one is Pratt.
Okay.
Pratt he's the leader of Slept on Superstars, SOS. I've always been with him. We actually met in a draft league. We met in a draft league, and then he hit me up after right before 2K19 came out.
Yeah.
It's 2K20. He asked to play with them, and then that was the beginning of that brotherhood right there. Honestly, he remembered me more than I remembered him. He was like, hey, we played on the draft league. We played WR Select together, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't really remember him, but he's super interested in me, and that's what caught my attention. He wanted me on his team. Like, he was welcoming. He was more. He turned it into a brotherhood right there. Yeah.
Yeah. When it came down to you playing in a physical setting here at Esposure, what were some of your aversions? And how did you overcome those aversions? And how did those overcomings help you get drafted, as the number one pick within the league? Because that's amazing.
Aversions.
Everybody knew, okay, we're going to pick up Nike. And they were just trying to figure out which team goes first, What was that like?
Funny story. I said this before. I almost didn't play the game.
Yeah.
I almost didn't play in this league. Period. I was actually one of the last people to sign up.
Yeah.
I remember you guys had to sign up, and the last 10 were like invite only.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I really want to play it? It's like I'm this close. I'm this close to selling my PS4. I was like, let's just do it. Did it. You guys reached out. Well, I reached out to you. You told me to pull up, and then my very first game, That was,
Yeah.
I think I solidified my spot.
You solidified.
After
Everybody
that,
was just like, okay, yeah, he's definitely that of the
no
winner.
experience. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell the people.
Yeah.
We had a combine. All I had to do was pull up and play the combine, and I got on pure sharpshooter. My very first shot, I watched the guys play before me just to kind of get a feel of it, and then, of course, I noticed their skill level. That's when I was really confident. My very first shot, wide open, I missed.
It was crazy.
The next 9, all green.
We're just sitting there like, what is happening right now?
In the first half, I had 27 points, went 9 for 11
Yeah.
in the first half.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got triple teamed.
Yeah.
I remember Coach King was playing point guard. Coach King was guarding me on the hash. I remember I wrapped from the right wing to the left wing. Coach King followed me. The center followed me, and then the defender in the left corner also followed me.
Yeah.
You see 3 bodies around me. I'm like,
what's up?
hey, take that back door next time. Go dunk the ball, because they're not gonna let me shoot again.
Exactly. So that's good. You're speaking on your facilitation, right?
Right.
Understanding that it takes character to say, I don't need the ball right now. My team is open.
Right.
So how did you gain that characteristic of not being a selfish player and really getting your team involved?
I mean, well, speaking on a talking trash perspective, guys trying to get in my face, it's like I grew up playing basketball at the park, playing
Yes.
at the rec, playing with all types of personalities and individuals, ready to physical altercations and all of that. That's like, do that on a video game is nothing.
Exactly.
And also playing the game with your friends where you guys talk trash all the time.
Exactly.
And as for the facilitating part, I learned that in post-draft, actually like a little less than a year ago. It was post-draft of 2K20. I was the man. Like, I'm scoring. I'm giving you 30 plus off the ball. Like, I'm getting you 30 points off of no more than 3 dribbles.
Yes.
And then, but I'm still losing.
Yeah.
I had a game where I shot 10 for 11 from 3, had 40 points, and we lost by double digits.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there wondering, like, why?
Yeah.
And then that's when I learned is like, you don't have to do it all. Like, I don't have to do all the scoring. Sometimes it's good for your point guard to score. Get his confidence level up. Once he starts scoring, he's in the groove. Sometimes tell your center to give me the ball, do a quick slip, because they're not going to let me shoot a 3. I'm going to pass it to you. Or sometimes get your corners involved. Get the whole team involved.
Exactly.
And then that's when I learned is like, okay, I go from 50% of the time I'm winning the game, scoring at least 20 points, to now, oh, wait, I can sit here and win, score another 10 points, and just be at my most notable skill is communication.
Exactly.
And honestly, that leads to the wins, not
That
really
does.
the points on the board, just communication.
That does. Coming from looking at the NBA2KL League Season 3 and knowing that it was virtual this year, a lot of the players were like, man, we wish we were back on that stage because of the energy and engagement. And frankly, our G League series was, our GEA series was geared towards prepping individuals for that live interaction. Now with everything going virtual, how does this experience in a live setting, an experience in which a lot of players that are coming in this draft, they've never experienced a live setting, how do you think that's going to help you when it comes down to playing season 4 virtually, and it comes down to individuals trying to figure out better ways to get in your mind?
Well, for one, I can say playing here, I would play here live and in person. The energy is there. That's what I love about the live. You're almost living through your my player on the screen.
Yeah.
That like you're really all the energy. What you do on that player is how you react in person, and it's kind of weird for somebody to look on the outside. But if you're on the inside looking out, you're like, this is exactly what it's like. Whether you're a professional or not, this is exactly how you're living. And I would say virtually. Well, for one, playing virtually is just like playing at home. No matter where I'm drafted, if we have to play virtually, it's like, okay, it's like I'm just playing at home.
For sure.
So a combine
You were
record.
killing it game after game after game. It was really, really cool to be able to see, and individuals knowing that you were that good, that you were that lethal on the court, you started just really gaining fans, on different teams, right? And that was pretty cool to be able to see. So it really helped your marketability, right? Kind of just change gears a little bit. What I've learned right now is that when we built this, we automatically knew in order to be able to let the players come in and compete, we wanted to engage with the actual GMs just as much because we knew that skill is not enough. Skill is just not enough. There's branding, there's the ability to understand how to work with your team, And what we do know now is there are a lot of teams in the league right now that are dealing with personality issues. It's not even their skills of the players. It's just how are their team, mates gelling together, right? Are they getting into it? Are they not, are they just naturally just not gelling? And that's a woe for a GM or a coach, and they have to figure out how to get their team cohesiveness in par. Something about your character that I've seen is that you're patient, right? Perceptive, right? And those are questions that you ask when it comes down to heated battles. Talk about how did that come about, and talk about some notable experiences that you've been in. It's like some tough situations to where you've had to showcase your personality to get your team in line and engage on and off the court.
The biggest one on the court is being up 20 points in the second quarter, and my teammates around me sitting right next to me are celebrating like it's over. It's like, this isn't over. Basketball is a game of runs. Whether you play the game or you watch the game, anybody that knows basketball, it is a game of runs. Our run, it came early. Now we're front running. Now the other team, they're going to make their run. That's just how momentum goes. Not even just in basketball, but in life as well. Momentum goes back and forth. Being able to finish the game, like relax, like it's not over yet. And then there's been times I've gotten on certain teammates and they're like, oh, you're tripping, like we're up 20. And I was like, trust me, this is far from over. And then they got to the situation, they cut it to single digits.
Exactly.
Off the court is about the same thing. First week we lost. We started off 0-1, then we won 5 in a row.
Exactly.
And everybody thought we were just gonna cruise to the championship and just win the easy money. It's like, no, the job isn't done. You don't win this, just finishing most of the season.
Exactly.
You have to finish the whole thing. And then when the championship came around, that was a humbling experience for all 5 of us. Like, you have to finish.
You have to
get the job done, and we didn't get the job done. We thought, like, we had the award ceremony.
Exactly.
We had a point guard, Sammy, Offensive Player of the Year, Linko, our center, MVP.
Yes.
And then there was me. I felt like I should have won Defensive Player of the Year, but I didn't. But at the same time, I was also one of the most notable players. I also made it. And then we had our LaRousse, our lockdown, who filled in and played fantastic. And then you had Draco fill in at the power forward, and he learned the position as we went, and he drastically improved. But we were the best 5, but we just got humbled that night.
So here's the flip side. Now, you got a good personality. You're humble. You're calm. You're collected. And a lot of teams need branding. They need a face for their team. They need someone that's marketable, right? I'm sure you had multitude of times to think about your marketability, right?
Yes.
What is your marketability? What makes you unique? And how could you drive fans to someone's team out there?
Well, for one, I do have a goofy side. For ones that do know me personally, I do have a goofy side. I can be a little bit jokester. I have a few jokes. For one, I'll say it again, me being a coach, being able to adapt to any situation, but at the same time, when the cameras are rolling, we can also have fun. We can celebrate after the wins and after the losses. I believe what makes me different is I don't take losses as hard as others, or at least I don't perceive to show that way. I will have a conversation of, let's have a meeting, let's figure this out. And then as marketability, honestly, I'm still learning that as I go. Because this one thing this draft process has really taught me is marketability. Just that word alone, marketability. Your brand. Like, what do you mean? Like, somebody will say, you need to make yourself more marketable. I'm like, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
and then,
for sure.
And then I'm learning as I go. I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to understand this now. But on top of already having a brand with Texas Ice and having the brand here with Esposure being the #1 pick, I had a moment. I would shake the guy, get an open shot, and I would miss it. And he stands up and looks at me. You getting locked up? I'm like, no.
Understandable.
It's the first quarter. Like, no, it's not that serious.
Lavelle, you spoke on it being a business. So, what are you planning on doing more in regards to your social media brand? How do you plan on utilizing Twitch and Twitter and, what unique things that you see that individuals are not doing that you are looking or you are curious about, journeying, so therefore you can stand out when it comes down to yourself versus anybody else that's in the draft pool?
I believe it starts with doing things like this and showing my face.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the community for 3 going on 4 years now, but just 2 months ago, everybody finally saw my face.
Yeah.
They didn't know what Nike Hoodii looked
Yeah,
like.
for sure.
And Twitch, of course, I want to invest in Twitch. I'm investing in a PC camera, show myself. Like those are what make Twitch streams entertaining. Not
Exactly.
the game, just seeing their face, their
Yes.
interactions, the being dramatic. You know,
Exactly.
their And then of course also I do that also with Texas Ice. With my team, we take a lot of pictures together.
Yes.
There's always a camera rolling. We try to have
Perfect.
fun. But at the same time, when I do get in the league, I want to take advantage of the staff we do have.
Yeah.
And I want to learn more about marketing and
Okay.
branding. I want to learn how can I invest, not just play in the league, but how can I invest in the league?
Perfect. That's awesome. So let's talk about, the teams that, you would love to be able to, work with. I know, the cat's out the bag. I know for you right now, you're like, you've experienced an instance where you've been quoted like,
Yes.
hey, Nike Hoodii wants to stay in Texas. I don't think that's true. Clearly, you don't think that's true, right?
Right.
Kind of speak on that. Like, speak on the instance when you identified that was the energy in the space, the world of NBA2K and the community, and talk about combat it. Like, what is your actions on ensuring that individuals know, like, you're open, like you want to be able to be a representative of some team that's out there, and you're also just not just wanting to be with any team. You have some specific teams that you would like to engage with, but it's on multiple channels. It's their marketability, it's their their team cohesiveness, it's the skill sets, it's the leadership. There's multiple teams out there that can benefit from a Nike Hoodii. So kind of speak on when you first recognized that was the instance, and then how are you going to combat it?
Well, to be straightforward, the quote was that Nike Hoodii says he would like to stay in Texas to play in the 2K League. That is 100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000% false. There's only one team in Texas that already have a shooting guard. They're set. They don't even have to look at me.
For the individuals who may, after hearing you, for the individuals who may say, is he just doing this now, or did he actually say it and he's just doing it now because it's like, oh, he put himself in a hole.
Right.
How do you combat that? And talk about like you just didn't know, and if that was the case, speak on it.
Well, before it even happens, like if you follow me all through the pre-draft since September, October, November, on and on, I've never brought up the one team in Texas this whole time. I've actually brought up other teams, other organizations away from Texas, organizations on the East Coast. And it's like, well, for one, I'll let this be a lesson for everybody that please be careful with your words.
Yeah.
Please, because this is what makes it funny. It wasn't when it was brought upon to me that I made this quote, I said, do you have a recorded audio of it? He's like, no, this is typed. So it was noted, like in quotations, as in you don't have real camera proof of me doing it. But it's because that one little quote, it ruins a lot of things. Like it just burned a lot of bridges that weren't even done being built yet.
Exactly.
And but yeah, like I'm open to going anywhere. Actually, like I just experienced traveling for the first time by plane, my very first time, and I was like, I can see myself doing this. Yeah, and it's like, why not? I want to travel. I don't mind travel. I don't mind getting away from Texas. I've been here I'm 25 years old. Yeah, I've been in Texas my entire life. And one thing I've learned is that, yes, Texas is probably the biggest state in America, but life is bigger than Texas itself. So I don't mind experiencing other places like a Philadelphia or a Brooklyn or maybe somewhere in California up north,
So it's safe to say is that
anywhere.
when you get to some team, if you go to market in some other city, you won't get the sense of where you're like, I don't like going to be, I want to go back home. You're going to complete your job. You're going to enjoy where you're at, and you're going to make the most of it. Could we say that?
First things first, I can say this with 100% confidence. I'm not going to be homesick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be homesick. I can promise you that. Whoever takes me, it doesn't matter. Alaska, Mexico, Florida, overseas somewhere, Hawaii, I'm not going to be homesick.
Yeah.
Trust me. Once I'm there, I'm locked in. And actually, it would be a benefit to draft me away from Texas because my whole life is here, which is a good thing, but also it's a bad thing because of the distraction standpoint.
Exactly.
I know family here. I built connections here with work, two
Got it.
jobs actually, and family, friends. It's
Perfect.
like, get me away from here.
Yeah.
You know, like if I move up north, if I have to move up north, that's honestly the best thing that will ever happen to me, because what do I have there?
Exactly.
Nothing. I would start from scratch, and I'm here to play 2K. You have me
perfect.
all to yourself. Like, the player you see I am during this whole pre-draft is not going to be the player you get during the season.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to be developed, actually
perfect.
developed now. I'm going to be with my coach 24/7. I'm going to be with my team.
Yes.
I'll be 10 times the player I'm already am now.
Exactly. So let's speak on this. If you had to find the perfect player in the 2K League currently that you would like to mimic yourself off of, that has both brand and skill, who would that player be?
I believe what I could be is similar to a Malik Hobson who plays
Okay.
for the Knicks. And I don't mean that as a player he is now, but anybody that's known Malik, he actually started off as just a sharpshooter. He was a pure sharpshooter. But when he got into the league, he developed. Next thing you know, Malik has playmaking ability now.
Yes.
He's creating his own shots. Like when the PZ's in trouble, Malik's getting the ball. He's making
Exactly.
plays. That's what I believe I can become.
Yeah.
And he's also marketing himself. He has a successful YouTube, and when he does
Yes.
stream, people are watching. And he also has his own marketing. He has his own clothing brand now, which I'm actually going to invest in one of his hats, or
Yes.
if hoodies, if he has any. But it's like, and then watching his development over time is like, wow, because Malik went from being a pure sharpshooter, and now he's this pre-draft. Now he's running point guard. He's running a
Yes.
secondary ball handler. He's dribbling now. He's
Yeah.
learning. But it's not like, but what I really like about him, there's no big ego. Like,
Yeah.
he's openly asking people, like, what are your moves? How do you do this
For
and
sure.
that? He's learning. That's what I really appreciate about him. Yes, he's a shooting guard, but he doesn't place himself in that box.
Perfect.
You understand? Like, he expanded his horizons.
Yeah. One of the things I've learned from you, Nike Hoodie, is your curiosity for growth, right? It's sure shot to know that you are open and you're humble enough to say, I don't know everything, right? Let's talk about your characteristics that a lot of individuals want to be able to know. What about your personality made you, the dog you are at your position, and how accurate you are at your position?
Probably one thing about me, I hate losing more than I love winning.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I may win at times, but I'll never forget about the times I didn't win. I'll never forget, as a coach, losing championship games.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've had success afterwards, but I'll never forget that losing experience. Just the feeling of losing irks me.
Yeah.
Yes, and it just actually gives you a little tick. You're ready to throw a controller, or you're just ready to scream on the mic, and and just understanding that I have the skill at my position as a sharpshooter. I have a skill that others do not.
Yeah. One of my last questions that I have is, by you being a coach in the traditional sports realm, what characteristics are you looking for in a coach in the NBA2K League?
First thing I'm looking for is his social skills. When I make a mistake, what's your first reaction? You gonna yell at me, or you gonna actually talk to me?
Got it.
Either one works for me. I just want to know who I'm getting. Who exactly am I dealing with? The
Got
man I interviewed, we had a cool conversation, but the man in the heat of the moment in the game, he's snapping at me. I just need consistency. That's
Got
the
it.
biggest one. I need to know exactly who you are. Not necessarily predictable, knowing, oh, he's about to do this. No, I just need consistency. It's like, okay, this is what he expects.
Exactly.
If I don't do that, or if I don't finish the task at hand, this is how he's going to respond.
Exactly.
Just consistency is the biggest one, and awareness, of course, and IQ. And I'm not just here to play the game and win some money. I want to develop. I want to be better at this.
Exactly. That's awesome. So, Nike, Mr. Lavelle Payne, is there any other things that you want to just get off your chest, or any other things that I didn't mention today that is very critical for you to be able to showcase to the world who you are?
I mean, anybody watching this, any coach, scout, GM, I don't want to be in Texas. I do not want to be in Texas. I never said that I want to stay in Texas. Get me out of Texas. I want to experience life somewhere else. I want to, honestly, and I'm serious about spreading my roots. I'm really serious about that, whether out of state, no matter where it is. Like I said, even out of the country, like I can spread my roots. I want to do that. I want to build some. I don't want to live, like I said, I've been in Texas my whole life. My whole family's here. I don't want to live off of their legacy.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet someone that knows my grandmother or my parents, but at the same time, it's like, what about, I want to build something for myself.
Yeah, that's true.
And that just Get me out of Texas.
Get me out of Texas.
Get
man.
me out of Texas. That's the biggest one.
But for us, man, we love you being here. You added so much value to what we do on a daily basis here at Esposure. You know, a lot of individuals out there, y'all need to know, like, we've created a community here, and we've showcased some of the best live engagement, live NBA 2K. You know, we've seen, you know, Day Fries. You've seen the Reezies. We've seen, you know, the Mikes. We've seen the User Pick. We've seen the Beezus. You know, we've seen all of these individuals come through this platform. And when I think of and when I see someone who's going to be really, really good, like a Day Fries playing inside of here, right?
Love
now
Day
he's,
Fry.
you know, winning the championships, MVP. When I see these things, I can see, you know, good talent. And Nike, it's undoubtable that you have the talent and the capabilities to really impact any team in the NBA 2K League. So I'm just I'm proud the fact that we can have these conversations, and hopefully, man, someone out there that can be able to see your talent, see your impact that you can have for a team, and you get drafted. You know, that's the end of the day, man. I can't wait to be watching you, you know, at some team, you know, rooting for you. So, you know, it's cool having opportunities like this.